What's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas, Fight Up TV here in Miami, Florida. Being joined with David Benavidez, who's gearing up for his fight against Anthony Yarde, November 22nd in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. David, man, good to see you as always. Thank you for inviting us to see you train over here at the gym. It's always good seeing you. I can tell you're in great spirits ahead of this fight with Anthony Yarde. Let me know how this fight came about, because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. You know, obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Benavidez lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, you know, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, you know, to get a crowd-pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, you know, we want to fight the next best guys. We were looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. You know, Anthony Yarde, you know, he's a great fighter. You know, he still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Archer Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with, you know, the top guys, and I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight, because he's lost his last two title fights, and you know, I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity, not his last opportunity, but this is, you know, he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him, you know, I know he has a lion in him, but you know, I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for my first fight with Riyadh season. You know, we got two bad men going in there. None of them is going to back off each other. And like I said, it's time to go to war. So if that's what the fans want to see, let's give the fans what they want to see.
I know there's been a little bit of confusion online. You told me earlier, but you're still with PBC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still PBC, Al Heyman, Samson Lukowicz. We're still together, you know. But, you know, the thing about with me and Al Heyman, you know, we have a special type of relationship, because I felt like, you know, in a way, Al Heyman is kind of like, you know, the grandfather, you know what I mean? Him and Samson Lukowicz, you know, they've taken care of me, and they just want me to succeed, and they want to give me the biggest opportunities. You know, when Al Heyman told me that he was not going to stop my momentum, you know, he said there was an opportunity with the Riyadh season, with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and, you know, I think this is something that everybody's doing. You know, everybody's going out there because they're putting the biggest fights together, and, you know, why can't I get a piece of that? You know what I mean? And so I really appreciate that from my team, Al Heyman, Samson Lukowicz, and, you know, they allow me to go this route, and, you know, like I said, I'm very grateful for this. And not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country, in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be you know, a little you know, it's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. You know, when I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, you know, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, you know, this is going to be a great fight for all the fans in Saudi Arabia. Not only is my fight going to be great, but the whole card is great. You got Devin Haney, Brian Norman, you got Abdullah Mason, you got Bam Bam Rodriguez, you know, and then there's probably going to be another fight, you know what I mean, on there. So this is a great fight, man, and this is what I want to do in my career. Not only do I want to headline great fights, but I want to headline great cards, and this is what I think. This is our third. This is going to be our second or third. The second card that it's headlined by superstars. So, you know, I'm just excited to just keep this going and, you know, keep this momentum going.
Yeah, man, that card is stacked. There's so many people on there, and want to get your thoughts on some of the fights on there. But you fighting over there, I know like Samson for a while wanted to keep you here in the U.S. How was that like combo like with Samson?
It's good, man. Samson, he's always been there for me since the beginning. You know, he's the one that gave me the opportunity. But sometimes when, you know, we both live out our contracts, I got to do what's best for me. Right now, we're still together, but like I said, I want to have my own promotion company one day. I want to make my own moves, just like like Mayweather, Canelo, and all them guys are doing. You know, we did what we did for about 10 years, you know what I mean? And I'm grateful for him, and, you know, we're just going to finish our contract and then go to the next step.
You know, when you look at going to Saudi Arabia and training over there, especially for a guy like Yarde, who like is all action, he's like go, 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 and he's a big puncher. What adjustments do you have to make, David, not only for the time difference, but for the type of opponent you have coming up?
So for the opponent coming up, honestly, I I thrive better with these type of opponents because they come to me. I don't have to go chase them. You know what I mean? So we're both going to display our heart, and we're both going to see who's a better tactician, who's better technically in that fight. It's not all about just going in there and throwing the biggest shots. Obviously, we can both throw big shots, but it's how you set stuff up, how you do the defense. And, I'm not going to say it's easy for me, but it's going to be easier. I'm going to be able to establish my game plan easier, basically. Not saying the fight's going to be easy, but these are the fights. This is what I like. I'm comfortable with this. So, just the thing for me is you get to a point where you have to look at the fighter. You have to see what he does good, see what he does bad, break it down, get plans A through B through C through D. And you know what I mean? If the first plan doesn't work, we go to plan B. If the plan B doesn't work, we go to plan C. So I have a lot of experience of my own. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to just use that. I'm in the prime of my career right now. I've just turned 28 years old, and I turned 29 this year. So, yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to go out there and perform and be the best version of myself. As for acclimating to the time and all the difference over there.
This is your first international fight?
This is my first international fight. Well, not first, because I fought in Mexico, but, but yeah, it's my real international.
In another hemisphere.
But we're going out there. We're trying to go out there a month before to acclimate with the time, and this is something different that we've done, so I can't really tell you how I'm going to do that, but we're going out there for a month in advance, and then, just see what we have to do to make sure we're acclimated and we're 100% ready for the time difference.
You're in this weight division, 175 pounds. You have the undisputed champion in Dimitri Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that if you win this fight, you're going to get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
I mean, yeah, it's not. They haven't told me specifically that, but just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am. I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I take my career one fight at a time. You know what I mean? I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turki Al-Sheikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol is next. You know what I mean? And doesn't know, if I was a different type of fighter, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go talk to my team and see what's the best. No, the fights I want are Beterbiev and Bivol. You know what I mean? Just because I want to challenge myself. I want to be the best without a doubt. But, you know what I mean? Sometimes in the business sense, things happen. So sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen. And if we can't get that, then my plan is to get a fight with Shouldve Ramirez at cruiserweight. No way. It's just like, you know what I mean? I've been calling for these big fights. I've been showing that, I back up everything I say. You know what I mean? And I think, I've been held back a lot, not only because these other fighters, they know that they don't want to give me opportunity because they know what's going to happen. And I think that's more and more apparent day by day. So, like I said, if it's not with these big, if it's not with Beterbiev or Bivol, then we're trying to go after Shouldve Ramirez. You know what I mean? And I want to reach greatness. And I think it's time to do that. And, with the way everything is happening right now, I'm just grateful for Lord Jesus Christ and God Almighty and my father, my team, and everything is going great, and I'm extremely motivated, and I'm gonna accomplish everything I set out to accomplish.
And I think I made a mistake. I didn't know that I'd forgotten that Bivol had dropped the belt and you got the belt, so he's not undisputed now, because for that to happen, he'd have to face you for the belt. The thing with Zordo though, that I had heard whispers, but now it's looking like it's more and more of a serious thing. If you can't get that fight, I don't know. What's the ceiling then, weight-wise, you think, for yourself?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be stupid and say, oh, if I could get a fight with, Usyk, I got to give the respect to the weight classes. They're there for a reason. But if I could get a fight with Shouldve Ramirez, I think right now is the best time to make it happen, because I always knew there would be a possibility of fighting him, but now this is the best time to make it happen. Two Mexicans, and fighting, maybe we can make it in Las Vegas, in the United States after this fight. And honestly, what else does Shouldve Ramirez have? I know they're trying to fight Opataya, but honestly, I'm a bigger name than Opataya right now because of what I've done in the fights I've fought. I'm not saying that I'm stronger, whatever it is. You know, I've done the work. I've fought pay-per-views. You know what I mean? I've put in the work. So I think it's solidified that me and versus Shouldve Ramirez will be a bigger fighter than Shouldve Ramirez versus Opataya. And then that's just in my opinion. You know, no disrespect to Opataya or nothing. He's a great fighter. But I think it makes sense on both sides for me and Shouldve Ramirez.
You know, you're the type, though, that would go and you'd fight Zurdo and then you'd fight Opataya as well. You know, just knowing how you are. 205, that's big. 200. I thought it was cruiserweight, 205.
It's 200. 200? Is it 200?
Okay, you're right. Yeah. Okay, maybe wrong about
the bridge weight is 225.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're the fighter.
I'm
not the fighter.
I think cruiserweight is 200.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We'll Google it. We'll Google it.
Someone Google it. Someone go right now. No. But Turkey tweeted after the Canelo Crawford fight asking, like, hey, could you maybe come down to 168? Could you still make 168? Is that a possibility?
Honestly, bro, my plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. Nah, bro. I'm done with cruiserweight. You know, I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, you know, congratulate Crawford. You know, he put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, you know, let Crawford do his thing, bro. You know, at the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. I mean, yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168. You know, the only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, you know, and let Crawford do his thing. Let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. When there's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, you know, and Crawford, you know, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, you know, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, you know, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class. I'm done with 168.
We know boxing is a business, David. If they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, like, I mean, would you second?
120 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No.
Say no to 100 million.
But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you. But no, man, I'm done with 168. They could throw whatever money they want at me. And my job is not only to get the money. My job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance of looking good. You know what I mean? And now I'm done with 168.
What did you think of the Canelo Crawford fight? Were you surprised?
I think I did an interview saying that I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford wins. Yeah. Or I wouldn't be surprised if you know what I mean, whatever. I think Crawford took it way more serious than Canelo, which is kind of weird because, you know, the amount of money that Canelo was making. And I know all these people say, oh, yeah, you know, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around. Or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just going to walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's going to be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only has he had the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling with Canelo like in the 8th, 9th, getting the best out of him. Boxing, he's epitome of a great boxer. Brawling when he needs to brawl, boxing when he needs to box, and using his IQ. You know, he looked amazing. You know, honestly, he looked amazing. Like I said, you know, you got to give credit to where credit's due. You know, Crawford went in there, he did his job, and he won. You know, was it 3-time undisputed? You know what I mean? So that's. I think there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in that fight. You know what I mean? If you really want to make something come true and you really believe it, you can make it come true. And then the other lesson is don't let your ego get the best out of you. And don't think that you don't have to prepare because you're a bigger fighter. You know what I mean? That shit will bite you in the ass.
Was there, because of the history between, you know, not being able to get the Canelo fight, was there a part of you that was, like, happy that he lost at all because of, you know, pretty much 2 years you being mandatory and not getting that shot?
No, if I'm being honest with you, bro, I'm not happy that he lost. I kind of feel like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have gone in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have been my.
If I would have got that fight, I would have been me. I would have been the one getting my hand raised. But like I said, it didn't happen, and that's why it didn't happen because Canelo knows that would have happened.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have said that this kind of marks like the Canelo in decline, given, you know, what happened. And I know for the longest time you're confident that you were the guy to be able to beat Canelo. Do you feel that even at this point, like a fight with Canelo, does it even interest you at all, or does it even still happen potentially?
Oh, yeah, it definitely still interests me. I feel like, honestly, I'm in such good position right now that it could happen at 175 because I don't think Canelo's going to retire. You know, I think the type of person that Canelo is, he's going to be, oh, well, I didn't prepare for that fight, but now I'm prepared, this and that. You know, there's another storyline behind that because of the way he lost. He didn't go in there and get just beat up and destroyed the whole fight. It just didn't look like he prepared at all. And the fighter that was prepared, was Crawford. So there could still be a big storyline, 175. Like I said, he could say, oh, well, now I'm motivated. Now I have a reason to train, now this and that. And it'll be a title fight for 175. So, you know, everything is still possible right now. Then Canelo, what is he, like 35?
He's still, I think he's 33.
33, yeah. And then imagine Crawford was 38.
38, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not focused on Canelo. I got my own stuff going on, but if there might be a way to make that fight happen. So, you know, like I said, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just thinking about the fighters I got to take out. And imagine, I go in there and I do everything I say I'm going to do. I go in there, beat Yarde. Then I go fight Bivol, or I go fight Better Beef, and I beat those two fighters. The fight with Canelo is 100 times bigger than it was back then.
Yeah, very, very true. You saying that you feel like he didn't prepare at all. Like, do you guys, like, as fighters, when you have an opponent, like, that's not, like, the biggest name, like, does that run through your mind?
Not the biggest name, though. Crawford is a big.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's just ego. It's just ego that he didn't think. I mean, he brought in Boots.
It would be like maybe like easier than what it turned out to be.
I think that I don't know what he thought. You know what I mean? To be honest, but when you see a fighter, what did he throw the whole fight? Like 200 punches?
Yeah, he didn't throw a lot.
Bro, that's how you could tell that you don't go. I mean, okay, say you're going there trying to get, you're trying to get. What's that word say? You're trying to get ready. You're trying to get your groove. Yeah, if that doesn't work in the first 5 rounds, then you got to push it the next fucking 6 rounds, 6, 7 rounds.
Cruise control.
Yeah, exactly. And it just looks like that's how Canelo's been fighting these past fights. Even with William Skull, if things don't go his way, then he just kind of lets the fight go. Like, it doesn't really look like he really wants to go and get it. Okay, and then let's put it like this. When he fought Caleb Plant, he was digging because Caleb Plant was kind of winning the first 6 rounds, and then he started to push. So, I mean, that's what I feel like, what a Canelo that's ready looks like, you know what I mean? And if you're the top fighter in the world, bro, how are you only throwing 200, 300 shots? A 12-round fight, they don't make sense. So it's just, I don't know anything about their camp, and I really don't care about anything they're doing over there, but that's what it looks like to me. When the punch output drastically goes down, that's how you could tell a fighter's not putting everything into it.
Or maybe they might have seen better days. I know a lot of people have suggested that about Canelo. Like, maybe he's not the fighter he was like 2-3 years ago.
I mean, you can't really say nothing like that, bro, because if you put age into it, then what's the excuse? Crawford's 38. He didn't fight in 2 years. So that's no excuse. When somebody wants to go get it, they'll go get it. So it's not like, oh, you know what I mean? I guess you could say that, you know what I mean? But I don't know, bro. Like, it's not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy for Crawford to do something like that. Like go up 2 weight classes.
We always knew Crawford was a great fighter, and that's how he reaches. He's always going to be he's made it in the history books. He's going to be the greatest of all time because he's never lost that hunger, and he's always wanted to prove himself. So, when a fighter wants to prove himself, he'll prove himself.
You've seen a lot of people in the gym, David, and you've while you were at the wild card, you've seen a lot of legends as well. I'm just, and this is kind of like a hot topic. I'm just kind of curious, like pound for pound, like skill for skill, like how does Terence match with Floyd in your opinion?
I mean, they're both great fighters. They're just different fighters in their own way. They're great. I can't say one is better than the other one. They're both great fighters. I think, honestly, if you go to see what has been accomplished, and I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of the undisputed. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And not even And honestly, I thought Crawford was going to have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. Yeah. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather is the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That'd be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now. Heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. No, but that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's a lot of. He has a lot of balls to do that, and not only to go do that to show the world that he's really like that. You know what I mean? So I respect that man a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned just from looking at Terence Crawford. Always, never give up on yourself. Always reach for greatness and stay true to your game.
What'd you make about Caleb losing to Resendiz?
Yeah, that was shocking. Yeah, right? That was really shocking, bro. I don't know what to say about that. You know what I mean? I think Caleb Plant, he's a great fighter, and he'll definitely he'll come back stronger. But it was probably sometimes, you know, a lot of people go through stuff in their life, and he probably just wasn't hungry for that fight, or he probably thought it was going to be an easier fight. That's why with me, I say, bro, you can't take nobody lightly. Because everybody's going to try to come and take your head off. If you're not training hard, best believe the next person is training hard, especially at the level we're at. You know, that guy that Caleb fought, he was probably training extremely hard because he knew Caleb had been there with me. Caleb had been there with Canelo. And I don't want to say because I don't know anything about, I don't know what Caleb how he was training in his training camp, but he probably didn't take it as serious as he should have taken it, you know, in my opinion. But Caleb is a strong dude, mentally and physically, and he'll definitely come back. Yeah,
it's always like, I've heard it before, like you'll get an opponent where like maybe fans think it's like a warm-up fight, but those are always like the most dangerous ones because, like you mentioned, they're twice as hungry as you are because they want to be in the position that you're in. They want everything you have.
Sometimes it's a little bit harder because they're not as known and there's not as much film as them. So that's why with me, bro, I train all my camps are 13, 12 weeks.
Yeah, I always wondered about like why it's so long because it's longer than usual.
It's longer than usual, and I've got used to training like that. But trust me, bro, the more overtime you put in, it's gonna be better. It's like if you train, and some fighters train 5-6 weeks. That's not shit. That's nothing. 5 weeks is nothing. I'd rather go into a fight knowing in the back of my head that I got a good. If I started 13 weeks, I got a good 11 weeks out of it. Then as of going in the fight, being like, fuck. I trained 6 weeks and probably only 4 weeks of those were good training. You know what I mean? It's better for you mentally. You know what I mean? I like to.
Do those thoughts like creep up in the fight?
Bro, yeah. Fuck yeah. Everything creeps up in your head, honestly, because they're just nerves, honestly. And sometimes people overthink everything. Sometimes in your head, sometimes your biggest enemy is your own head. Because you get those thoughts like, and that's why I don't like reading shit. I don't like reading no negative stuff because if you read negative stuff on the Instagram or comments and all that, if you read it so much times, that shit stays in your head. And sometimes I'll be in the back of your head, and then you'll kind of start to believe it if you read it enough. You know what I mean? And it's bad. That's why you can't have no negativity. You can't read no negativity about yourself because it's only damaging yourself. Even if you know it's not true, but if you read it, it stays in the back of your head. And that's what I'm saying. Some of those thoughts creep up on you. You know what I mean? Like, what if I'm not ready? What if I'm not this? I'm not that. Fuck that. Don't think about none of that stuff. You have to be mentally strong to be in this game.
Yeah, man. I feel like you've been in such a great place like the last like 3-4 years, man. And it's really like a complete difference from like seeing you and covering you when you were like 19, 20 to like now, you know? And it's.
So the thing about that too is I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger, and everything has been put on the forefront. You know, people have seen me at my worst, and people have seen me, you know, do dumb shit, and I've had a lot of people talk a lot of shit about me. So I have to see that, and I had to go be mentally strong and say, fuck that. I've done what I've done, you know, and I've made mistakes, but now I'm 100% focused on myself. I'm working extremely hard, and I'm not gonna what am I gonna care about what somebody says bad about me? What does that help me in? It doesn't help me at all. So I block all that shit out. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of, and I know how hard, and I know how strong I am, and I know how hard I work. So really nothing like I said, everything is mental here. You can't let none of that shit get to you.
I'm just happy for you.
Yeah,
like
I'm happy for myself.
you're making. No, I'm just in general. It's like.
But bro, like honestly, that all comes from the power of Lord Jesus Christ and God Almighty. I've really got into prayer, meditation over the past 2 years, and you know what I mean? I ask for the power. I ask for God to illuminate my path and to protect me and give me the knowledge I need. Obviously, you could have your own beliefs, but I really believe this. You know, I really believe that God is talking to me every day. I pray every single day. I pray every single night, and I live my life righteous. I live my life in accordance to what I'm praying. You know what I mean? I try to be a good people to my fans. I try to, you know, teach people as much as I can. I'm a good person to my, you know, my people here. And you see how much respect I get from everybody. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband. And I live my life in accordance like that. And I just ask God to bless me every single day. Bless me, bless my family, and bless my passage. And I honestly feel like that's been the main change that's helped me become who I am. Because I really believe that God is helping me, that God has his hand on me. And once you believe that God is with you, can't nobody come close to stopping you.
This card, like we mentioned earlier, is really stacked, and one that a lot of people are looking forward to is the Norman versus Haney fight. How do you see that fight? Because a lot of, right, it's like 50, a lot of people think it's like 50-50. If not, maybe, you know, they favor Norman because he's a big puncher.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's a great fight, and I got Devin Haney winning that fight, and I got him showing out in that fight. Not no disrespect to Brian Norman, but Devin Haney has been, honestly, his track record is the best out of anybody that I've seen. Bro, how old is he? He's like 25 years old. He's fought Lomachenko. He's fought Linares. He's fought Jojo Ryan. He's had a lot of good names on his resume. So he's been there at the highest level for a long time, and you know he's a great fighter. You know what I mean? So I got him beating Norman, but it's not like, you know, I'm against Norman or anything. Norman is a great fighter, but I think it's just experience. You know what I mean? Experience, and both of them got a lot. I think Haney has more, not more pressure, but after this fight, he has bigger stuff that he could, you know, bigger fights he can make happen. So that gives a lot to your motivation as well. When you know you got these bigger fights coming up next, you know, that definitely motivate you more. But Brian Norman, he's a great fighter. He's strong. And that last knockout when he knocked out that Chinese guy, that's how you know the guy is not playing. So it's always, I always say that these fights are won in the training camps. Whoever wants it more, whoever's working the hardest is the one who's going to win.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because you see like the Ramirez fight, and you think, okay, was he fighting that way because that's just the way he wants to fight, or was he fighting that way to kind of be cautious and see like, hey, you know, let's not like ruin the bag because we have this fight with Ryan, and others have said like, oh, maybe it's from the Ryan fight that he doesn't want to just get hit as much. And you see a guy like Norman.
That's what it was, that he didn't want to really ruin the fight with Ryan, the second fight. But you know, it's funny because Ryan's the one who fucked it up. But I mean, that's kind of how it has. You know, sometimes when you come back from a fight like how you had with Ryan, you have to be more cautious. You know what I mean? The thing that I like about the Ryan fight is that he came out. Ryan, even if it was a little bit, he still came out. Why do you have any of that in your body? You know what I mean? I don't know if there was messed up with the supplements, but I feel like that was a big advantage for him. It was a really big advantage. No matter what anybody says, you shouldn't have any of that stuff in your body. So, in my opinion, that helped him a lot, and it messed up Haney a little bit because, you know, it wasn't 50-50, in my opinion. So I think coming back from that fight, you know, Haney, you know, he was trying to, you know, be cautious and, you know, save the second Ryan fight. Because honestly, too, it's a big money fight for them, two big money fights. But he went there, he got the victory, and, you know, he moved on to the next.
Just because you spent so much time with him, how cool was it to see Manny come back? And did you feel that it was a draw, or you felt that Manny won?
I think they should have gave it to Manny because, you know, he's Manny, and then he was pushing. You know what I mean? So I think if it could have went one round to Manny, you know, and I think just for his legacy, if you're gonna give anybody a fight, you know, give it to Manny and make his legacy even greater. Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't mad with the decision. I mean, the draw. It was a draw, right? Yeah, it was a draw. I wasn't mad with the draw because Barrios, he's a hell of a fighter too. He has a lot of heart. So, I mean, both them guys that went in there, they showed that they're world-class fighters.
Like me as a fan, I'm just glad I got to see Manny again, like in the ring, because I thought the last time was going to be the Thurman fight, to go and see him. And then I always remember, like, as a boxing fan getting into this, seeing clips of your brother sparring Manny and just thinking like, oh my God, like these guys are going at it with each other, and your brother wearing like the gold. Yeah, I think he had the gold gloves in one of the clips that I was watching him spar.
Yeah, I think they were black.
Oh, were they?
Black,
Manny
yeah.
had the gold ones then.
Manny had the gold. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it's cool, bro, because like we started, no, we didn't start, but we got into the scene. We're around these big world champions, and now we're the big world champions. You know what I mean? So it just shows you that with dedication and you being committed to your craft, that you will reach whatever you're chasing. You know, the thing about it too is that a lot of people don't understand that you have to have patience. You have to have a lot of patience. Like this is my 12th year professional boxer.
You mentioned patience, like you're.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I don't get frustrated. And sometimes fighters get frustrated because they don't get the opportunities they want, so they fuck up the training camp. They don't train as hard as they're supposed to train. But like I said, bro, like it's taken me 12 years. It took me 8, 9 years to get a big fight. When was it? It was 8. I was professional 8 years when I got that fight with Caleb. And the fights have just been getting bigger and bigger. But like I said, it's a lot of patience with this. It's a lot of patience.
I'm saying you're living proof with patience because being mandatory for how many years, and with that situation. I won't take up too much more of your time, David. I know you got to go. I just want to ask you, just because we're in a weird time right now in boxing where we're seeing exhibitions, we're seeing Jake and Tank. Your thoughts on that? But do we see you in a crazy exhibition ever? Is that on your mind at all?
Nah, bro. I mean, I'm not at the point in my life where I want to do exhibitions like that. I mean, No, I'm not after that, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter about the money. I don't care about the money. I care about, reaching greatness and giving the fans great fights they want to see. I do want to fight here in Miami and bring a big fight here to Miami because in, city of Miami has shown me a lot of love. They've supported me a lot, and they haven't had like a real big boxing fight like that. Obviously they had the Mayweather and Paul but like we want to bring real boxing fights where you don't like it's a 50-50 fight. Like these guys are coming to knock each other's head off. And I'm not trying to disrespect Jake Paul and Tank's fight, but it is what it is. I want to see it. It's a little. It's a trip because Jake Paul, he's a big fighter and he's been getting power. He's been getting stronger and he's been doing what he's supposed to do. He's been improving as a fighter, but Gervonta Davis is Gervonta Davis. And what I like about this fight, that Gervonta Davis, he's a smaller fighter, but he's not a boxer. He's a fucking killer. So it's just I want to see like how he reacts to a punch from Jake, and that's if Jake can even catch him. You know what I mean? But this is going to be a better exhibition fight because Gervonta is not going to be running from him. He's going to be trying to hurt him every single round. So it's going to be a good fight. But as for the exhibition fights, I'm not thinking about any exhibition fights. I'm thinking about getting these world titles, and then if there's an opportunity, maybe in 5-10 years, and we'll go down that route as well.
Yeah, it's just knowing how long Tank's been in boxing, and like I know how it is when you guys step in the ring, whether it's an exhibition or not. Like once you get touched, it's like you see red, and you're like, okay, let's go, and like that's where I think like he's not.
Sometimes what if there's the only question is what if a flush punch lands from 200? Because Jake is gonna weigh 190, but he's gonna be 210 on a fighter that's 150, 140. You know what I mean? So and there's what is it gonna be 12 rounds?
Yeah. No, that I'm not sure. I think it's 10 ounce, but they're trying to lower the glove size. It was 12 ounce gloves. They're trying to lower the gloves to like 8 or 10.
So I mean, if it's 8 ounce gloves, I mean it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Jake Paul, because those 8 ounces are small, bro. They're really small. So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be a good night of boxing. I mean, it's good for the city of Miami, and then we'll see who's on the undercard. But we ain't hating on it. I mean, it's good for boxing, and hopefully we get a knockout.
I don't think it goes the distance, honestly. Yeah. Just knowing, like...
I don't think it goes either.
It's honestly just knowing Tank. Like, he's angry in there. Like, he doesn't matter who's in there. Like, he's going to try to rip their head off.
Yeah, so that's the exciting thing about Tank. He's going to bring it, and Jake is going to bring it too, so let's see what happens.
Well, you're going to bring it on November 22nd as well against Anthony Yarde. David, just any words before we get to that date you want to say to the fans out there?
No, I just want to thank the fans. I want to thank them for the love and support. Man, we're really excited for this, and we're going to give you guys what you want to see. Le quiero mandar un saludo a toda la gente de México, toda la gente que habla en español. Muchas gracias por todo el apoyo. Ya nos vemos noviembre 22. Gracias.
Spanish is getting better, bro. Good job.